Yeah. Whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today. But if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, Gavin.Rich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel GBoot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace. Hi, I'm attorney Gavin M. Richard. Check out my latest book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. For approximately 2 years now, I have gone on a painstaking quest to investigate the rise and fall of an American icon, Bill Cosby. In the mid-1980s, there was not a star that was higher than Cosby. Advertisements with Coca-Cola, Jello, Kodak, along with the #1 television show for 5 straight years in a row. On Thursday nights, it was must-see TV on NBC. Cosby resurrected the genre of the traditional family sitcom that was once thought dead by television critics. He did this as a Black American with an all-Black cast and showed mainstream network executives in white America that it was possible to be successful without showing the worst in people. He also demonstrated the power that television had, as it can make younger people dream to be the best that they can be. However, like many celebrity stars, unfortunately, they all come crashing down, sometimes by their own fault, others not so much. In this book, I attempted to highlight certain things. We go in depth into both of his trials in 2017 and 2018, respectively. What if I told you that these criminal trials were politically motivated by an overzealous district attorney? Will you also be shocked to learn that attacks on Mr. Cosby did not start in 2014, but also in the 90s, not long after his attempted quest to purchase a major network? From where did all of these allegations of sexual misconduct come from? Were the accusers telling the truth? In the 2 years of research, with some help from others interested in learning the truth and facts about this case, we discussed both the legal reasons why his prosecution and trial were illegal, unwarranted, and also the possible personal motives as to why this may have occurred. Most importantly, we warn about the dangers of prejudice and why trial by social media, or mainstream media rather, should never be the norm. All this and more in The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. Available on Amazon this fall in Kindle and paperback format.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, because on the dance floor is where we'll meet. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the... Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on, baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken-hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on, baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken-hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Now, 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so, if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll feel the groove. Get on the floor. Get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up, baby. Yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up. Baby, feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Oh, what's up, everybody? Feel the groove, get on the floor, gotta get on up, gotta get on up. Hope everybody is doing safe and being blessed. This day, it is Tuesday, that can only mean it is Random Topic Tuesday. You're on YouTube. Shout out to everybody that's here, we're sharing. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to hit that like, share, and subscribe button right now. That's right. We're live. We're live and coming at you with 5. I don't want this to be a too long live stream tonight. Maybe keep it under an hour because I want to do a couple of things. But we're going to be talking about the following topics. I want to get away from the Queen of England tonight. Of course, one of the big topics is the jury gets the case in the R. Kelly trial. Clinton Whitewater, prosecutor against Starr, dead at the age of 76. And this first topic, ladies and gentlemen, is Las Vegas politician stands accused of murder. Now, this is interesting. I want to talk about this. We almost at Hump Day now that I think tomorrow's Hump Day, y'all. So the week is almost over. Right. So you'll have the weekend is almost here again. It comes and it goes very quickly. But that's a hell of a double entrade there. I want to talk about this, but this Las Vegas journalist that was murdered in his home. His name is Jeff German. Jeff German. He was age 69. They have arrested a suspect about a week ago, and this man's name is Robert Tellis. Now, Robert Tellis was in court today, but for all intents and purposes, I'll share this with you all. The cops are saying that Tellis, who is a politician, this man is a Las Vegas Clark County public administrator. So maybe not a politician, but he is a public official. His name's Robert Tellis, who's 45, faces a murder charge after the stabbing death of the Las Vegas Review-Journal reporter Jeff German. Of course, it's coming from Fox 5 News for more on the story, but according to the arrest report, German was found with 7 stab wounds, including one into his neck. Police quickly identified German as an investigative reporter at the Review-Journal. They collected surveillance video from a neighboring home, and according to a report, a suspect in a straw hat and reflective orange shirt was seen walking east and arriving at German's property at around 11:18 a.m. September 2nd. The suspect walked directly to the west side of the property and appeared to breach a pedestrian gate, the report said. They say within several minutes, German opened the garage door, walked out to the west of the home, and the pedestrian gate, and up to the pedestrian gate, was immediately attacked. The report said he fell to the ground and never got up. Reports say then the police report says that about 6 minutes later, a maroon GMC Denali parked directly in front of the home. Was parked directly in front of the home. The suspect then exited the vehicle and reapproached the area where German was looking for something, police said in the report. He got back in the driver's seat and drove away, according to the police report. And the Denali did not have a license plate. Well, it turns out that the Las Vegas Metro Police Department collected some DNA from German's fingernails during the autopsy, and they received anonymous tips that Tells was mad about German's recent reporting. Now, this is Tells. Let me put his picture up for you. Mr. Brain. Damn. Motherfucker looking like the Great Gazoo. Y'all remember that? Hello, Dum Dum from the Flintstones. Chrome Dome. Now, Tellis was in court today, and this is how he appeared in court.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Yeah. Take care. September 20th, 7:40.
Now, his criminal defense lawyer is Tazi Fumo, who was asked to help authorities coax Tells out of his home on Wednesday to surrender. Told the Daily Beast that he went to go see Tells in jail on Saturday. He was still on suicide watch, Fumo said via text message on Monday. I only spent a few minutes with him. I confirmed with him that he gave Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department my name to contact him. I explained to him that I would be unable to represent him in his case. Now, I take it, I don't understand. They asked for him, obviously, Tells asked for him because he's probably a good criminal defense attorney out in Vegas, and he wanted, obviously, someone that could represent him in this case. But Tells is another defense lawyer. His name is Travis Shetler, who was not available for comment. So it appears that prosecutors are still sketching out a complete motive, but the Chief Deputy District Attorney Richard Scow linked German's reporting on Tells to the killing during a hearing. Because apparently there were some published articles regarding a public figure, the public administrator's office, that ruined Tells' political career and possibly his marriage, and this was him lashing out at the cause. That's the story. In fact, they talked about it because there was reports that he had been having an affair with another colleague in the office, and there's no proof of that as of now. But there was a video that I saw, and you can go find this on, I believe it was Inside Edition, where they showed the two of them sitting in a car, a truck, looked very much like that GMC Denali. Now, that was another thing about the link to linking into the crime scene, is the fact that it appears Tells does have a GMC Denali from what I was reading. And that's what I saw in the Inside Edition. Now, we're going to go right now to Fox 5, and they're reporting on this case. Now, you got to see this, because this is actually video footage of the alleged killer. So look at him like Lord Brayton just walking there. So
stabbing a reporter to death will be back in court tomorrow for his arraignment. Public Administrator Robert Tellis, on the right, has now been formally charged with the murder of newspaper journalist Jeff Garman.
In the criminal complaint filed today, we also learned that the district attorney added new deadly weapon charges and older person enhancements because Garman was 69 years old.
And new details are being revealed about the moments surrounding Garman's death.
Fox 5's Drew Andre live outside the Regional Justice Center to break down these new details for us.
Well, the arrest report details the evidence that investigators came up with. That includes surveillance footage that shows the murder and why they believe it was premeditated. Police say investigative reporter Jeff Garman was found nearly 24 hours after his death near the site of his home, and investigators believe they know how the attack was planned out. The report says County Public Administrator Robert Tellis's phone was left at home when they allege he drove to Garman's house to kill him. They say Tellis's wife couldn't get a hold of him during that time that Friday morning. Investigators say surveillance showed the suspect arrive and walk to the side of Garman's home. Garman came out of his garage a few minutes later, and the person wearing the reflective shirt and big straw hat attacked him immediately. The report says Garman suffered stab wounds to his torso and neck. Investigators say Tellis's DNA was found under Garman's fingernails.
You know, I make my opinions on strengths and weaknesses of case on the evidence, and the evidence at this point is quite compelling.
After police released a suspect vehicle last Tuesday, they received calls at the GMC in Tellis's driveway that matched the description. Police say Tellis was seen washing his car a short time after the photo was released. Tellis holds an elected position as public administrator. Records show he makes about $120,000 a year. Following reports of personnel issues in the office that Garman detailed in his reporting, the county says the decision was made to no longer have staff report to Mr. Tellis, and the solution will be in place until the public elects a new public administrator in November. In court last week, Tellis had bandages on his arms from self-inflicted cuts, and police also allege there's evidence of possible ingestion of narcotics. And again, Tellis will be arraigned in court tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Fox 5 will have that covered. Reporting live tonight, I'm Drew Andre, Fox 5 News, local, Las Vegas.
Tellis is being held at the Clark County Detention Center without bail.
The Clark County older person has now been administered. Clark County official accused.
Investigators came up 24 hours after police said wife couldn't believe they know how and was found nearly 24 hours to Garman's house home. Garman showed the suspect arrive and walk to the side of Garman's home. Garman investigated attacked fingernails.
You know, I make.
I do want to point this out. I got to excuse me for 1 second, y'all. Something's come up, but before I leave, before I step out, why don't we just continue just reading about Mr. Tells right now? As you see him there. Excuse me 1 second, y'all. I'll be right back. All right, I apologize. I had to step out and help old people. Now, as I was saying, oh, what's going on, Bishop Scott? How are you? So we were talking about Mr. Tell. So he's due back in court on September 20th. He's due back in September 20th. So we'll figure out more what's happening there. But that's a very interesting story.
Chief, mate, what do you want to do tonight?
Same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
The Pinky and the Brain, yes, Pinky and the Brain. One is a genius, the other's insane. They're laboratory mice, the genes have been sliced. The Pinky and the Brain, 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 brain.
Let me stop. But y'all saw. I had to. I'm sorry. That's too easy. But y'all saw this. You know, he was walking around like allegedly, because all of this is alleged.
We
It's
also
not been proven.
charged. Reporter to death.
But just think of this: you walking,
Clark County-
you kill somebody walking around like Lord Raiden with that Whoopi Goldberg hat on from The Color Purple. Look at that. Oh my gosh. It's alleged he may have not done this. I don't know. I want to give him his due process as a lawyer. As I always state, a person is presumed innocent. If he's on suicide watch, you know, that's not a good sign. So might be a sign that obviously he's depressed. He suffers from depression and so forth. They're gonna have to obviously keep him on watch, keep him away from stuff. I wonder where did the cuts come from, because they said when I was listening, if we could play that back
The
again.
official accused of stabbing a reporter to death will be back in court tomorrow for his arraignment. Public Administrator Robert Tellis, on the right, has now been formally charged with the murder of newspaper journalist Jeff Garman.
In the criminal complaint filed today, we also learned that the district attorney added new deadly weapon charges and older person enhancements because Garman was 69 years old.
And new details are being revealed about the moments surrounding Garman's death.
Fox 5's Drew Andre live outside the Regional Justice Center to break down these new details for us.
Well, the arrest report details the evidence that investigators came up with. That includes surveillance footage that shows the murder and why they believe it was premeditated. Police say investigative reporter Jeff Garman was found nearly 24 hours after his death near the site of his home, and investigators believe they know how the attack was planned out. The report says County Public Administrator Robert Tellis's phone was left at home when they allege he drove to Garman's house to kill him. They say Tellis's wife couldn't get a hold of him during that time that Friday morning. Investigators say surveillance showed the suspect arrive and walk to the side of Garman's home.
Okay, so I'm reading more. So he was on suicide watch. So it's apparent he had bail. They haven't set bail yet, but he's obviously being held right now. The prosecutor's clearly on a charge like that. They're going to ask for probably no bail, or at least this, according to what I'm seeing here, they said very high bail, and Tellis possesses a flight risk and danger to the community. So we'll find out more what will happen, but you know, they say his DNA was there. But according to this, you know, they say they probably could have rushed it. They're saying that Tellis was questioned by the police last Wednesday, voluntarily turning over clothing to investigators. Wolfson told reporters that after the conversation, investigators rushed to test on his DNA. Tellis was arrested that night after an hours-long standoff in which he barricaded himself in his home, and police called Fumo to help coax their man to surrender. Fumo was the lawyer. So he sustained self-inflicted wounds during the incident and was briefly treated at a local hospital. So yeah, so that's what happened. So this is an interesting case. Bishop Scott, I see you're here, my brother. Good to see you. I need you all to please hit that Cash App, the donation, the PayPal, the Zelle, please. As you know, this channel is not monetized here on YouTube. You know, I actually was, and I have put up my Rumble link for you all because I still am moving over to Rumble. But something very interesting happened. I had appealed for my YouTube monetization, and YouTube still denied. YouTube still denied my monetization as of yesterday. I had actually filed an appeal almost 30 days ago, and they actually sent me a link, a notification in my email that was not to that it was not coming back, that I'm still demonetized. So that's just the BS I have to deal with. I'm still dealing with here. But check out the Rumble page, ladies and gentlemen. I'll put the link there. That's my latest video. Subscribe there. And also go to my Patreon to support this channel, support me for exclusive content. All right, the next thing I want to talk about, we're going to discuss what's going on. Well, some other news that I can talk about too. Now, let me just get this briefly done because the main thing I want to talk about is the R. Kelly trial. But I don't know if many of you are not. I think everybody in here is a '90s baby or '90s kid like me, and remembers If you remember Whitewater, or at least what happened. I don't call it. Never called it Whitewater. Just said President Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. That situation that went on with them. Well, Ken Starr was the lead prosecutor in that investigation, the Clinton Whitewater investigation. And it was brought to my attention earlier today he passed away. Now, he was the one-time federal prosecutor, as I stated earlier. He led the Whitewater investigation into Hillary Clinton in the 90s. And he testified before the Senate Governmental Affairs Committee in April of '99. Now, what he was supposed to investigate were some real estate investments that the Clintons had made during the years that Bill was building his career as his political career back in Arkansas. So he was granted expansive investigative powers as an independent counsel, and the scope of the investigation grew far beyond the original inquiry into Whitewater real estate deal. Now, the Clintons were never charged in that matter. However, Starr's inquiry loomed for years over the administration. Starr investigated the death of a White House attorney, the firing of White House travel agents, and the potential mishandling of FBI files. So, eventually, Starr's investigation, they say, came to encompass Clinton's conduct as the defendant in a sexual harassment lawsuit filed by Paula Jones, who was a government employee in Arkansas, and accused Clinton of misconduct during his time as governor. But as part of his investigation, he was also it turned the spotlight to his relationship with Monica Lewinsky and the president's testimony in a sworn deposition about his conduct with her. He had a 445-page report about the case that he handed over to Congress that laid out 11 possible grounds for impeachment against Big Willie, the original Big Willie. Big Willie style on Monica. And what's interesting, he later expressed regrets about how the investigation turned. He said, "I deeply regret that I took on the Lewinsky phase of the investigation. But at the same time, as I see it 20 years later, there was no particular practical alternative to my doing so, he wrote in his memoir. Now, he was involved, obviously, and spent this time with Baylor football, with the Baylor University. You know, Baylor got into trouble back in 2018 with Art Browse as head coach because there were allegations that they didn't follow through with Title IX and all of these allegations of sexual misconduct and assault. And he had to resign in 2016 after an investigation revealed that the school mishandled those allegations. And essentially, what his job was at Baylor, he was the school president and chancellor, and he oversaw the opening of the university's $250 million football stadium. Which was interesting. Says here that Starr joined the Lanier Law Firm in 2018, becoming a frequent commentator and defender of President Donald Trump on Fox News. Of course, this is where they go. Now, I want to say something very interesting. They always go to Fox News when their careers phase out, don't they? These conservatives. Now, here's my thing about Ken Starr. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But I'm looking at this, and I want to point this out to you. You see this part here in the NPR article where they're talking about the implementation of Title IX federal law policies that polices sexual violence on campus, as well as Violence Against Women Authorization Act. Around that time, I think this was in they say it here, 2015, 2016, the president of the United States was none other than Barack Hussein Obama. And under the Obama administration, they changed the policies, especially the Department of Education, and how the schools would handle sexual assault cases. And the dangers with that, let me just stress this point, is that if a young lady accused another student of sexual assault or harassment of any kind, the way it worked was that that student did not have to, first and foremost, was not entitled to due process. He could be kicked out immediately just upon the accusation. They did not have to have a hearing where he would have his lawyers present or anything like that to get his side of the story. If she complained about him, that was enough. And your Donald Trump, when he was president, changed that. Now, again, this is not me tooting my horn for Donald Trump and what he stands for, but I do certainly support due process, as you know, as an attorney, is what I do, because I would not want a situation, and as I'm sure if you all who have sons, because we talk about looking out for our daughters, which we should, but we also have to equally look out for our sons as well and figure out what is fair and impartial. And I certainly don't think having a kid, someone accuse you of a crime, accuse you of misconduct, and yet you have no way to defend said allegations, but going off only what one person says, who is to say what they're saying is actually true. See, I don't like stuff like that. Now, I don't know what you all may think about that, but as it relates to Ken Starr and Derek Bailey, you said that he wasted money going after the Clintons. Well, I think all of that, in my memory of it, I was only about, with the Clintons, I was only about 12. No, when was, 1999, 98. I was about 12 years old. So I do remember the impeachment phase. I do remember people defending Billy. Didn't think he should have been impeached. They think it was a scam and a setup and so forth. So I remember stuff like that. But what say you all? What did you think about Big Willie Style, the original Big Willie Style, and Ken Starr? Says here he was married for 52 years to Alice Starr and had 3 children and 9 grandchildren. So, I mean, and I don't really care for Mr. Starr, but I'm sorry to hear of his passing. Never really paid attention to him, but wanted to bring it up for my 90s kids here and all of those that paid attention to politics. Thank you, Bishop. I know you, we know you 50s. All right, not 50 years old. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Shout out to you, Bishop Scott. Now, let us talk about my last topic. I want to discuss what's going on in this R. Kelly trial. Jurors have started deliberations. As of today, I would say around 1 o'clock this afternoon, the jurors have the case of the R. Kelly's federal trial. Of course, what he's charged with is child pornography and trial fixing. Now, it does seem like this was double jeopardy. However, it is a different, the way they are able to get around the double jeopardy aspect is because they put it in and tried it through a different jurisdiction, i.e. federal court. Remember, there were state charges that he had and then federal charges. And how they have been able to get him in jail on federal charges, obviously in New York and now in Illinois, is that they have basically made mention that R. Kelly is just as bad as or is just as powerful. I should say bad. That's the wrong choice of word. He is as powerful as John Gotti, Meyer Lansky, and Bugsy Siegel combined. In other words, he ran a criminal enterprise. That is what the RICO statutes were about. Now, what he's been charged with, and this has been a month-long trial, is enticing minors for sex, rigging his 2008 child porn trial, and producing child pornography. Now, R. Kelly never took the stand during his trial, which is his right. He was asked if he wanted to, but he didn't. And according to the reports, Jennifer Bogine, who's his attorney, from what I've heard from different people, was fighting a killer of a case, however, put on a courageous fight. Standing at a podium a few feet in front of jurors, Kelly's attorney, Jennifer Bogine, told jurors in her closing earlier Tuesday that key government witnesses were admitted liars who testified with immunity to ensure they could not be charged. At times sounding indignant and raising her voice, Bogine likened their testimony and other evidence to a cockroach and the government's case to a bowl of soup. She said, if the cockroach falls into soup, you don't just pull out the cockroach and eat the rest of the soup, you throw out the whole soup. She says of the prosecution's case, there are just too many cockroaches. They say Kelly looked calmly at nearby defense table as a prosecutor spoke later and repeatedly looked towards Kelly. He often averted his eyes. Later, when the prosecutor described him abusing minors, he just shook his head. Jurors withdrew to start deliberating early Tuesday afternoon, heading home without reaching a verdict after several hours. They were set to pick up where they left off on Wednesday morning. They say here, of course, we know Kelly was sentenced to 30 years in prison back in June on a separate federal trial in New York, and convictions on just a few of the 13 counts Kelly faces at his current trial could add years to his imprisonment. Delivering the government's rebuttal after Bogine's closing, prosecutor Janice Appentage told jurors to remember the girls and women Kelly allegedly abused. When you are in the quiet of the jury room, consider the evidence in light of who was at the center of the case. Kelly's victims, Jane, Nina, Pauline, Tracy, and Brittany. Appentage said, referencing to 5 Kelly accusers named in the charging documents by their pseudonyms or first names. 4 testified, but Brittany did not. Now, Bogine went further and said she had earlier told the jurors not to withdraw to the jury room with an impression of Kelly informed by media coverage of him in recent years or by the prosecutors at the trial. They throw labels around labels like sexual predator, she said about prosecutors. Labels and sweeping generalizations are distractions meant for you to lose your humanity for this man. She described him as a functional illiterate, of having only a functional illiteracy since he was a child and was ill equipped to navigate his celebrity and fortune. She said having been abused as a child also deeply affected him. She also says some witnesses who testified with immunity hadn't come to the courthouse in Chicago, Kelly's hometown, to tell the unvarnished truth. Said they came in here to tell the government's version of the truth. She cited Kelly's ex-girlfriend, Lisa Van Allen, who testified about how she stole a sex tape from a Kelly gym bag in the early 2000s. And she pointed to former merchandising agent Charles Freeman, who testified that he had asked Kelly for $1 million in exchange for returning another potentially incriminating video. Both testified with immunity. Now, let me say this: why they likely testified with immunity is because if they were in possession of obviously a R. Kelly tape, a child porn tape, that in and of itself is a crime. That is a crime. Now, Bogine had called for a mistrial on Monday, complaining that closing arguments by attorneys for Kelly co-defendants Daryl McDavid and Milton Brown were grounded in the presumption that the world knows Mr. Kelly is a sex predator. She said the presumption of innocence has been abolished for him, but Judge Harry Leinweber denied the request. Now, Kelly and McDavid are R. Kelly's former business managers, and they're accused of fixing his 2008 trial on state child porn charges by intimidating and paying off witnesses. The other thing, too, ladies and gentlemen, that was brought to my attention, supposedly, and I think I want to make sure I get this right. My brother, Dennis Byron, y'all know Dennis. Dennis has always come on the show and given his take. He's come on the show twice. He has given his take on what has taken place with R. Kelly. And originally, what he said, he had to clarify because I was reading this, and he said Jennifer Bogine, she tells jurors that those tapes were just performance tapes, no different than Kim Kardashian's performance tapes. Yikes. Now, that is not good. However, as I go further in the tweets, Jennifer said that that was inaccurate. And I was specifically referencing a tape that all defendants allege did not contain child pornography. No issues with the original tweet. Was responding to other people who suggested that I was referencing CP, which is obviously child porn. Good, because I was scratching my head. That's what I got from your closing. It says the emoji might have been inaccurate, though. Nothing to erase. So I'm glad that they clarified that, because I don't think I don't know why Jennifer, I don't think would be, and she's a smart attorney. I don't think she would be stupid to say something like that. And apparently she said that's not what she said, so she clarified it. And he retweeted some stuff that said, "Thank you, Jennifer, for all that you've done. She did her best. Let's hope that R. Kelly will win tomorrow, not guilty." This, I can tell y'all already. I mean, when they said that his presumption of innocence has been abolished, it was abolished, honestly, for us, for many people, the minute that docu-series came out. He got tried back in '08. He was acquitted. Then all of a sudden, almost 11 years later, we're talking about this same stuff again. Now, it's not a matter of me defending R. Kelly and his behavior. A lot of people think when you're talking out and you're speaking, saying this person got injustice, and you're just trying to stick up for him. You just saying this stuff. You're a rape apologist. You're a white supremacist apologist. Then, see, I can flip that around. It's not about being an apologist for a child predator. It's about due process. It's about defending the law. The law says a man is innocent until proven guilty. The law says you're entitled to due process. That's the law. We follow the law as law-abiding citizens. And when that is not followed, then there's a problem. There's a problem. Every person that's accused of something, just like the gentleman I was showing earlier, Mr. Tells, I don't know for sure if he did it. He's entitled to due process. That's our laws. Can we say that the evidence doesn't look good against him? Yeah, you could say that it's pointing against him. They always say it doesn't look good, but what matters is what happens at the trial. What matters is what the evidence that they have. And unfortunately, in this era, and what's dangerous about this whole Time's Up, Me Too movement that I've talked about is the fact that you don't have to have evidence against a person. You can just go off on them and think they did something, and that's the end of it. Because the women say so. This trust and believe narrative that we have that uh, that is taking this country, this nation by storm. Although it's hit a snag in in the last couple of years, because it started to go after some prominent white men, and people were complaining. There was pushback. Remember Brett Kavanaugh, Donald Trump, even to some degree Woody Allen, because HBO had that documentary on there, and we've always heard about Woody Allen's allegations. But what's interesting is HBO even took out a statement after they aired the documentary. I believe it was Farrell versus, I think it was called Farrell versus Allen. I think that's the documentary that Dylan Farrell did about her father, Woody Allen. But HBO said they had no plans of removing any of Woody Allen's movies. So these documentaries, that leading this can be very dangerous. Now, speaking of that, so we'll figure out more what will happen with R. Kelly's trial. But I want to say this too. I know most of you, I keep talking about it, and I apologize again, but I do have some good news. The Emmys were last night, and of course, no one watched it, like always. The Emmys hit an all-time audience low, opposite most watched Monday Night Football since 2009. $5.9 million total viewers. The Emmys' previous all-time audience low was 6.4 million. Now, I'm not focused just on that, guys, but I want to say this. Guess what lost last night? Now, of course, with the ratings, they have to clarify that that only applies to, it also achieved a 1.09 rating among adults 18 through 49, but they're saying it doesn't include those who streamed it on Peacock. But I want to, and Kenan Thompson was the host, big deal. But if you look here carefully, ladies and gentlemen, you will see documentaries. Don't get ahead of me. I think you all know where I'm talking about with this. But there's a documentary about the Beatles that won Best Documentary for TV. Not, and why does it keep doing this? I'm sorry. Hold up a second. Why is this not here? Okay, yeah. The Beatles Get Back. It won for Outstanding Documentary. Now, why am I happy about this? Because if you look closely, look what it was up against. I gotta share the damn thing first. Look what it was up against. Y'all see it at the bottom? We need to talk about Cosby. You see all of the names that are associated with this. I actually know someone who's a quote unquote Facebook friend on here who was a supervisor on this documentary or mockumentary. Yeah, these are the people that made this: W. Kamau Bell, Andrew Freed, KDA King, Vinnie Malhotra, Dane Lilgard, Serena Roma, and Jordan Wynn, EP Geraldine L. Porras, and co-AP Eric Dolphinson. It flopped. It flopped so bad they couldn't even. They put it on YouTube, and it still couldn't generate the views that they want. This was your Emmys. This is why nobody watches these shows no more. And I was so happy. Thank you. I wasn't a Beatles fan till now, but I may play Come Together. I'm gonna play Come Together tonight. Or better yet, how about Let It Be? So it lost, it flopped. So which I knew it was gonna do. So all of that cooning that W. Kamau Bell doing was absolutely nothing. So his career never went any further than this. It wasn't anywhere in the beginning. But I do plan, and it couldn't have been a perfect time. I do certainly plan to put something together because I'm starting. It takes time to make videos. So this is a good starting point, and it couldn't have come at a better time. Finally, last thing I want to talk about, hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. We are hot in here. We're almost about to get off in a minute. Please donate to the Cash App, PayPal, and Zelle and support the channel. Something I did want to talk about, though, that was brought to my attention. I want to say, first and foremost, a rest in peace to this young brother who was killed, R&B Rock. The rapper, he was shot it appears earlier today in an attempted robbery in South Los Angeles. He was at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles with, I believe, with his girlfriend when a robber came up to him and asked him for his jewelry. Uh, from what I'm reading in the reports, there was a struggle that had ensued, I guess, and the man shot him, if that's my understanding from this. Someone had put up, it looks like, his location of where he was, and in an Instagram post, we don't know who did it, but obviously that triggered, it appears, the shooting because the person knew where he was, came up and robbed him exclusively, didn't rob anybody else, and shot and killed him. Says here that the victim was transported to a local hospital and died at 1:59 p.m. So they came to, it looks like they came to the location. I was just from the post. I gotta tell y'all, I stopped sharing. Of course, I have stopped and made an attempt to stop sharing my locations where I'm at. And I gotta tell you that social media, and it may sound like my mom and dad, but it gets dangerous now, especially when you start to get money, when you start to get things. I'm reading the comments. I'm sorry. When you start to get money, you gotta be very careful, especially traveling by yourself, especially if you're a public person. I mean, the internet is there, Instagram and Facebook is there, so you can't stop people from taking pictures and recording you, obviously. But what you can control is how you act. You can control having uh, using your money to buy bodyguards, to have weapons. Now I know this is in California, so the laws are different, obviously there, but to have some bodies around you, even when you go out. And a lot of young people can learn from something like this. This is horrible because he's in my age group. He's only 30 years old. A lot of celebrities have been tweeting about him, from Nicki Minaj. She stated that there's no way after Pop Smoke, there's no way we as rappers or our loved ones are still posting locations to our whereabouts to show waffles and some fried chicken. He was such a pleasure to work with. Condolences to his mom and family. This makes me feel so sick. So a lot of people were tweeting about him. DJ Academics even stated that he had spoken with PNB Rock 1 week ago. So he was out with his girlfriend and his daughter, man. She was, well, just to talk about this young brother, he made waves at the end of the 2010s with the two albums between 2017 and 2019, Catch These Vibes and Trap Star turned Pop Star. And between 2016 and 2019, he had 8 songs on the Billboard Hot 100, 4 of which were in 2019. So you have all of these young brothers from Pop Smoke, Young Dolph, and Nipsey Hussle that get killed in mysterious fashion, get shot, and for no apparent reason. I feel terrible for this brother, and I hope his family gets justice for him. Because whenever you have something like this, it's sad. But young brothers, right now, especially if you got money, please be mindful where you go and watch out for each other. Don't go along with anyone. Make sure they strap. If you got money, I know laws are different in California than they are in Louisiana, but please look at investing in some weaponry. Invest in some guns. Invest in some body security guards with guns. something. So you feel safe, man. But rest in peace, brother. PNB Rock. Sucks. All right, y'all. I said it wasn't going to be a long show, but we're going to continue monitoring these stories. Of course, I need you to please go to Nawny'sCreoleBlends.com. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nawny's goes great with every dish, and you can buy you some Nawny's Creole Blends. You can also, of course, I told you to go to Patreon to support family. Those that want to advertise with our channel, you can hit me up for advertisement rates. Subscribe to @Commonwealth Also, please donate to our Cash App and PayPal links at the bottom. And the next thing we're going to also do, I want you to buy Gotta Get On Up, as well as Video Soul that's available online now. We're going to wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to get on out of here. I love you all. I will be back Thursday with Brother Sean James, discussing the craziness of Random Topic Thursdays. Have a good night, guys. Peace.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, because on the dance floor is where we'll meet. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on Earth, Wind, and Fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up
And move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
Baby, yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up. Baby.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.